We are joined by Michael Haokip, who is the president of the Thadou Students Association. Now, before we begin with Michael, we will also try to tell our viewers that we have traveled in Manipur length and breadth. We have gone to Meitei areas, we have gone to Kuki areas and Naga areas, and we have tried to highlight the perspective and narrative of every village, every person who has been suffering in the conflict. We do not make our own opinions, we just ask people and we try to highlight that narrative on a larger scale. And similarly, what Michael is saying, we are trying to understand his perspective and try to highlight it. It is up for the people to accept or reject it, but it is a perspective, and it is a perspective which Michael will share. So Michael, welcome to NewsX. Again, we are meeting.
Thank you, Nibir.
So Michael, first of all, tell us, you are always a viral person when it comes to criticism. When we interviewed last time, a lot of people said a lot of things, and now again we are seeing in all major newspapers and national television your name is coming up because of a festival that the TSA is planning, and that festival is the Hun Thadou festival, if my pronunciation is not wrong.
Right.
And the Hun Thadou festival, as per the Thadou people, is very important. It's like Bihu for Assamese people, but from what I'm getting to know.
Yes.
And this festival has not been done in the last 20 months because of the ongoing issue, and now the TSA, they are trying to do this festival. So before we go about all the negativity and the criticism, first of all, tell us about something about the festival and why it is important for the Thadou people.
Hun Thadou Cultural Festival is one of the oldest and one of the biggest festival of the Thadou, and it is festival of festival. And our forefather used to observe and celebrate this festival for 7 days. So we adopted that in 2015 at first, and then we are celebrating for 7 days, starting from 1st April to 7th April every year.
And is it a harvest festival?
No, it's not a harvest festival. It is a festival of, it's a spring festival.
Spring festival.
And then it is a celebration of the sprouting of seeds, sows,
Okay.
and then
Right.
the germination of the
Germination. So it's
sprouts,
much like
sprouting
Bihu.
of seeds.
Yeah. So now the thing is, viewers, that the festival dates have been all announced, the plans are all ongoing, and then there are a lot of organizations who have criticized as the TSA's attempt to do the festival. We have spoken to both the sides. We have also spoken to the Kuki, Ingpi, and other organizations who are opposing the festival. So we will speak to Michael as to why they are getting the criticism when it comes to the festival. Michael, tell us your point of view. A lot of people are criticizing the TSA as well as the local Thadou people who are residing in Assam, especially in the hill districts, for not celebrating the festival. When I spoke to some of the leaders, they have told me at a time when Manipur is going through violence, 60,000 IDPs are there in the relief camps, is it right for the TSA to do this festival?
Of course, absolutely. It is a preservation and promotion of the cultural heritage and of the Thadou people. It's not a it's not an actual celebration. It's an observation of the festival, so that the legacy continues. And most importantly, Kuki has no business in this Thadou cultural festival. The distinction and the separation of Thadou and Kuki is quite clear in the recognition of the tribes list. It's very clear. The only problem what the Kuki people have is they want to forcefully impose Thadou as Kukis, which the Thadous are never agreeing into it. And most importantly, the Manipur violence and this cultural festival has no linkage or no relationship, because there are more than 4 or 5 festivals the Kukis are celebrating in Nagaland, that the Mimkut, that falls in the month of January, and then even in the state of Assam they have Kuki Chawangkut, and then also a new festival called Kuki Chaphaukut, some kind of thing. They have been observing and they have been doing it, so Thadou have never against or have never said anything. And the Manipur violence for the Kukis, what they have said is a national war. What type of national war the Kukis are going through? Is it a kind of the whole universal Kukis are having a conflict with the Métis, and they call it as a national war. That seems to be quite interesting, and it's so strange, or it's that's what we feel. So most importantly, the cultural identity and the indigenous identity of Thadous living in Assam should not be disturbed or should not be threatened by the Kuki group. So it's very unfortunate, and I appeal that they should not do this, and they should not disturb the peaceful coexistence of the Thadous and other various communities living in the state of Assam.
So let me explain it to our viewers. What you're trying to say here is that cookies and Thadaus are two different identity. Firstly, you are trying to say that. If I'm wrong, you can correct me later. Secondly, what you're trying to say is that the cookie leaders or the cookie whoever is saying negative things about the festival, they should not comment on it because these two are separate identities, and you're trying to say that.
Yeah.
But when as a reporter I visited Manipur to cover the conflict, and I visited the hill areas, what I got to know from some of the leaders there or some of the people, that they all resonate under the umbrella of Kuki. So you are now telling me that Thadou and Kukis are separate. For a normal viewer who is outside Assam or outside Manipur, can you explain to us what you're trying to mean here?
Uh, it is like this, in a very simple language term. The Métis blanket and label all the non-Naga tribes as Kukis, and we are all impacted of this conflict in Manipur. So that must be the reason why people think that they are Kuki, or they have been killed as Kuki, they have been targeted or attacked as Kuki. That must be the reason, and that is because of emotional outbursts, and that is because of ignorance or lack of awareness, or lack of the separation or the distinction between the constitutional distinction between Kuki and Thadou, that people are not aware. But when they obtain their tribe certificate, it is quite clear that Kuki and Thadou are totally separate. And most importantly, in this Manipur conflict, if we are to relate, it is not only the Kukis, it is not only the Thadous, it is not only the Métis. It is not only the two communities, even the Nagas, even the Pangals also died and also impacted in the conflict. So just because of this communal conflict terming, or considering ourselves as Kuki, that will not be appropriate, because Manipur is going through a very sensitive ethnic conflict between the so-called Kuki and Métis. In the midst of this, the Thadous, who never identify ourselves as Kukis, should be in the position to come up and rein in and be a part of the peacemaker. And for that matter only, we have made a breakthrough between Thadou in Manipur and Métis Alliance. So we are marching forward, and we are hoping that Manipur ethnic conflict between Kuki and Métis will resolve soon. And the present the same applies here in Assam also. Kuki and Thadou are separate thing. The only thing is that since we feel that somehow we feel that we are from the same stock of a group, that's why we find
Because
it
of the branding.
yes, and because of the sharing of the surnames and these clans, because of that we feel like we are not in the position to separate ourselves. That's fine, but it should not be a kind of imposition or opposition or suppression or oppression by the Kukis towards the Thadou.
When I read the press release statements of your organization, I was going through it wherein I saw a very interesting sentence. It was written in that Kuki is a ideology. Kuki is and Thadou is an identity. Thadou is an identity. Kuki is an ideology. Now I have been traveling in Manipur, so I know a bit of it. What you're trying to say here and what you're trying to make claims here. But for a viewer, how will they differentiate? Because you are saying something that they are an ideology, not an identity. So can you explain to us your claims?
When we talk about identity or ethnicity, it is an ethnic group, people having their own distinct dialect, different from anybody else, and distinct culture, tradition, and costume, and attire, different, totally different from anybody else. So that's called an identity or ethnicity. Whereas Kuki doesn't have possesses any kind of language or culture or custom or tradition in particular. So that it is more of like an organization or a network or a group of people sharing the same ideology of rhetoric of the Kuki nationalism, trying to the demand separate administration or break away Assam or break away Manipur or across the border in Myanmar, who have shared that ideology in the name of Kuki, who wants to break away and form a separate state.
Okay.
Those who have shared such type of ideology work under the banner of the Kuki, irrespective of whatsoever community he or she belongs. That's the reason why we are telling that Kuki is an ideology, not an identity.
Okay, so you are trying to say that this ideology has been used to to demand the separate administration that you are trying to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Cookie country, Cookie state, Cookie UT finally, and these are the ideology that push or brings all the like mind that people, even within the Thadou communities, people believe that there can be a kind of separate union territory from Manipur in the name of Cookie. So that's why many of them are also out of ignorance a part of this, separate administration demand.
Do you think the integrity of Manipur should stay intact?
If you look back to history, it's I personally don't believe that it's difficult to break away Manipur if you go through the history, but uh, I better leave it to the wisdom of the people that whether they will be able to break away Manipur or not. That's a different thing. If you look into the real history of Manipur, how Assam, Manipur, and Chin Hills, Burma was demarcated. If you look into the history, I think to further volcanize or break away Manipur, it is the onus lies on the central government, not to the state government or not to the Meitei or not to the Kukis or whosoever.
So, Michael, I want to play the devil's advocate here. Since I have a lot of people, I interact with a lot of people who are in Kangpokpi and Churchandpur. I interact to them on a daily basis. And since you are away, you are in Delhi right now, I think,
Yes.
and you are not able to meet them or communicate them. So, I have some sort of messages or criticism for you, and you can answer them in any way you like. And if you don't want to answer them, also it's fine. Okay. So, when some of the people who have been following your work in Kangpokpi or Churchandpur, they say that you are trying to divide the umbrella. This is the Kuki community. Is it true, or how do you respond to that criticism?
Uh, I have been into this social activism, especially with reference to the tribal rights, since the past 12 years. I have joined these student activists at a very early age, and our track record of achievements in terms of preserving and protecting the tribal right has been unparalleled, unmatched to any other tribal bodies, especially when it comes into protection of tribal land rights, with special reference to the More border township or More smart city. That was a kind of Manipur government planning to grab the tribal lands, which technically many people say it belongs to Naga, not the Thadou group. Yes, we have been successful enough in preserving the rights of the tribal people. So I have been traveling the length and breadth of Manipur in the last 8-9 years, and I know the pulse and the sentiments of the people, and I know the inner dynamics of the non-Naga tribes and many of the Naga groups and the Meitei Pangal groups. So looking into all these things, as per my experience, I understand that the watertight compartment between the non-Naga tribes, broadly they are divided into 5 groups: the Kuki, Zomi, Mar, Thadou, and Mizo, which none of us wants to sacrifice our distinct identity and come and amalgamate to form a united front. So we always wanted to maintain such type of identity and specified area. We have our own where we don't want to join together and amalgamate. So I feel and I doubt the common ethnicity, and I doubt the common aspirations always been taken over by vested interest by a few politicians and vested interest people that I have experience in the Three Bills movement in 2015, where I was one of the ardent believer of separate administration that was, finished up by selfish people without even, addressing the core issues like, the MLR and LR Act and ILP issues. So I know. So it will take some time. Once they knew that they are fighting for a status quo, then only situation will be conducive. Right now also many people have started realizing that whatever the perspective of the Thadou, basically from the TSA, has come through, and they are all more of, understanding the dynamics, and people have started, appreciating and started having a good holistic discussing about the way forward in the coming days, because presently Manipur has been under president's rule, under the rule of the central government. What sort of tribal rights in, grievances in terms of reserve forest, protected forest, or eviction or whatsoever, the people have started, discussing to us. So I think, in very short period of time, whosoever criticize us will also realize that the futility of violence, and they also join the mainstream by advocating the non-violence resolution. So I'm very hopeful to that. So let us be patient and let's pray to God, and that senses prevail among all the people, and let all the sane mind join together and, advocate for peace and restoration in the state of Manipur.
Last allegation that people have over you, because we are sitting in a very candid way and we are trying to talk about Manipur so that a better situation of Manipur happens, and every Indian wants Manipur gets peace as soon as possible. Last allegation that people have for you is that you are siding with the Metes or with the Biren Singh, and you're compromising your community. Do you agree with this allegation that people make against you?
Allegation is I accept the allegation, but if we come into a discussion on the topic wise or the grievances what they have, they will be able to understand my position. But without giving me an opportunity to explain my perspective, allegation may not be true. That's only one side of the story. So I accept such type of schemes of thinking also, because the emotions and sentiments are high, but truth stands, and truth only, takes time. It's a matter of time. So the truth is that as I keep on telling to my people, that the problem is not Mr. N. Biren Singh, the problem is not the Meitei, the problem is within the, the within the non-Naga tribal people itself, for not being able to understand the demands what they have, the grievances, because the problem is not with the Nagas also, the problem is not with the Pangal and other communities, the problem is with the non-Naga people, who have a genuine concern and grievances or a threat which requires the attention of the government, which can be discussed through non-violence or, peaceful ways. Any kind of criticism or, any kind of personal target attack, even though I don't want it, I have been, enduring for the last so many, even before the conflict, this was the allegation what the particularly the Kuki people keep on targeting me. I have come back to Manipur only in 2017. So prior to that, what was going on in Manipur, I was little aware, but I have seen Manipur dynamics right from 2017. At that time, the present chief minister, with the help of the present chief minister, with the help of the Kukis groups, only filed an FIR against me, including arms act. So
Like I said, he's a man under controversy all the time. Yeah.
yes, because
Controversy's favorite child, Michael Haokip.
yeah, because we are fighting for the tribal rights, and because we won our tribal people to learn the tribal dialect in Imphal. For that, we fight for the recruitment of the tribal dialect MIL lecturer. At that time, when we protest, go against the government, the Kuki Students Organization are opposed to us, and they approach the
Yeah. It
chief
was a big issue
minister.
back then.
Yes, the chief minister N. Biren Singh filed an FIR against me.
Yeah.
So I keep running around here and there. Later on, he understand my perspective, point of view, uh, and then he became one of the most understanding,
Yeah.
and that becomes a bone of contention for the Kuki group again. So anyway, the problem is not with Biren Singh, the problem is not with Meitei or Nagas, the problem is within the non-Naga tribes for not being able to come up with their identified grievances or problem which requires the attention of the government.
Right.
I will proudly and I will boldly say this, and I will welcome any kind of criticism, because truth have to be told, and it should be a truth telling as a leader.
Okay. Last question to you, Michael. We all are for Manipur. We all want Manipur to go back to normalcy. We want Manipur kids to have the best education. And even as a network, we have tried to cover positive stories and also go on ground and meet different people. What is your appeal to everyone? Don't. It is not just related to Thadous. It's not related to Meiteis. It's about all the people who are residing in Manipur, all the indigenous people or the permanent residents people. What is your appeal to them through our medium?
Uh, I really appreciate your channel for trying to cover in a very balanced way, and for not taking sides, because 99.9% of the medias are taking side at this conflict that fuel the violence escalated. So if I am to appeal for one thing, reconciliation is very important. For that, community understanding is the most important thing. So you have to identify each and every ethnicity and understand each other, accept each other, and then embrace the idea of Manipur as a multi-ethnic society. And we have to bet for non-violence resolution and peaceful coexistence of all communities. That will only enable us, and thereby way of identifying the common goal of the entire multi-ethnic communities living in the state of Manipur. Let us work to identify a common goal where our future generation can flourish, and such type of barbaric, uncivilized killing, mob violence, or armed conflicts should not repeat again in the future of Manipur.
So there you have it. This was Michael Haokip, president of the Thadou Students Association. We spoke to him. We tried to get his perspective as well, because there are certain allegations and criticism that has come towards the TSA as well as Michael Haokip, and we tried to understand his version of the entire situation and also his understanding of Manipur vis-a-vis the conflict is concerned. We are going to speak to many more people from Manipur, and we'll try to give you all the best ground updates. Stay tuned to NewsX. This is Nibir Deka reporting from NewsX with video journalist Nishan.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.